So I guess being from Asia, Asian culture is very conservative when it comes to gambling, and the stereotype whereby Asians think poker is gambling and gambling's bad and you're gonna lose the family fortune is actually kind of true. So back then when I was in college, actually one of my friends asked me to go to his house to play poker at the end of the year during a college break, right? And I was like, nah, I don't want to play. It's gambling. It's I don't want to gamble. That kind of thing. But he's like, no, 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 you gotta come. It's fun. You gotta come and try and play. It's really fun. And I was like, okay, fine. We'll give it a crack. And tried playing. It was really fun, and I won some money as well. And yeah, I kind of got hooked since then. The winning money part is kind of what gets you as well.
It's hard to beat
Yeah,
that combination.
yeah,
Fun plus money.
yeah. And but that being said, my parents didn't take it too well in the beginning as well, because of the whole lose the family fortune thing. But I just kept playing quietly, and eventually told them that I won a bunch of money, and they're like, "Huh, really? For reals?" I was like, "Yeah, yeah, for real, for reals, I won a bunch of money." They're like, "Huh, okay, we'll see." Yeah, that kind of thing.
It was something like that for me with my family anyway. They like locked up my savings and
Scared you blow the bankroll up playing too high.
yeah, and then they changed their tune a little. I'm a little curious about a couple things here. So I've heard that there's some part of Asian culture that considers gambling like communicating. There's like some spiritual element to it for some reason. It's like communicating with the universe, or at least that's in Chinese culture. Is that relevant at all to Malaysia? And there's also a lot of people that gamble in China. I don't know if that's remotely relevant at all. It's just
Don't know about communicating with the universe. Not sure about that part of it, but definitely it's embedded into Chinese culture or even Asian culture. So in Malaysia, there are three main races: the Malay people, the Indian people, and the Chinese people
oh,
as well. So I'm actually half Chinese. My mom is
oh
Chinese,
okay.
and my dad is Sri Lankan. So I'm mixed. So actually, right now it's Chinese New Year. The period. So Chinese New Year is on the 21st, no 22nd actually. So like everybody's gearing up for Chinese New Year, and gambling is a big part of that as well, but more in the fun sense. You gamble amongst your relatives. Not too high stakes.
Sure.
Sometimes it gets a bit out of hand with some people. But not for me. But yeah, it's very accepted to gamble during Chinese New Year with your friends and family, and it's more of a fun recreational thing.
Okay.
But that being said, we do have affinity for gambling, I guess, to a certain extent.
How does
Yeah.
that work? How do you have an affinity but like look down on it? It's such a strange thing. And also, did you have?
Yeah, it's like, how do you explain it, right? People, not people, okay, some people, right, like to gamble, and they just have this desire, or they find it so fun. It's so thrilling, it's so entertaining. They just have this need to gamble. That being said, this leads to, of course, the downward spiral, and where you lose the family fortune, and bad things happen, and that's why there's that stereotype whereby gambling is bad as well. But I guess we we kind of have a bit more of gamble in us compared to other people to a certain extent. Yeah.
It's funny. It sounds like a vice. This looks like.
It kind of is. It kind of is a vice. Yeah, it is. Yeah,
All right.
but it's okay during Chinese New Year. It's fine during Chinese New Year. All is
All
accepted.
right. Did you have any friends that were coming up with you when you were playing professional poker? Or is it just you?
Yeah. So that's where the funny story comes in, regarding like Mr. Paul and Mr. Richard and stuff. Not directly with them, but actually with Wykin.
Oh,
So actually, there's a small community of poker players, and all of us kind of started at the same time, and we kind of came up together as well to some extent. So Wykin was actually my foosball friend, like table soccer,
really?
foosball. Yeah, yeah. So we competed in foosball competitions, right, in college, and we were in like a similar area in college, and we used to partner each other and join competitions and stuff. So at one of these events, he was like, "Hey, Mike, you play poker, right?" I was like, "Yeah, yeah, I play poker." Then he's like, "Oh, my dad plays poker too." Then I was like, "Ah, cool. Where does he play?" Then he's like, "Oh, with Phil Ivey and Tom Dwan." And I was like, "What?" And that's when this whole 2+2 thing, came out, and like Tom Hall was telling stories on 2+2 and
Yeah.
stuff, right? And I was like, "Your dad plays in this game?" He's like, "Yeah, for reals." And I was like, "Shit, that's so uncanny," and it's kind of weird. But I mean, at that point, Wykin had just started playing as well, so we used to go and play some games together, and like some poker places and stuff back then. But of course, he kind of like eclipse everybody else really really quickly as
Hmm.
well. Yeah, but in terms of like people who play from the ground up to a certain extent, and like kind of like spend a lot of time studying and playing, there were a couple of Malaysian guys that were doing it at the time as well. Not too many left. The few that are left are mostly the ones that you see around playing with you.
Okay.
You know, so yeah, it's not too easy to stay in the scene, I guess, for a long
They
time.
really are Malaysia's finest, basically.